Hello and welcome to DSTE Presents Twin Peaks, a weekly podcast looking back at the Twin Peaks episode that aired that week and hopefully covering it all in detail and getting a bit of insight into the show. My name's John.
My name's Nick.
Hi Nick, good to see you again.
And you, John.
Been another week.
Whole week, John.
We're now at pretty much the halfway point of the TV show.
Yeah.
Episode 8. It kind of feels like the halfway point anyway, because this essentially is a mid-season break that we've come to now.
Yes.
We're having a week off now after this one. Then we come back then for episode 9 and onwards. I think the finale is a two-parter as well. So that'll be on one night kind of thing. Just to let people know, we've got some plans for next week. We were thinking of having a week off originally, with there being no episode. But we've now decided to cover Mulholland Drive. Yeah,
this was your genius idea, because I've not seen it. I know you have, but you have some theories about Mulholland Drive. I guess we can come into that next week when we actually talk about the film.
Got a few theories. I just feel it'll be a good idea to, let's say we've got a week off, got some time to do it, go back and look at that film. I think it'll tie in quite closely with, judging on what we watched last night in episode 8, it might tie in quite closely. So you might not be thanking me next week once you've watched it, because it's a very hard film to watch, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you might have a different opinion next week. But, yeah, so if you're at all interested in Mulholland Drive, tune in next week. We'll be reviewing that in full, going through it in detail, and hopefully finding a few theories, a few twists in there that might tie into the current Twin Peaks series. So, apart from that, I've got no feedback this week, to be honest with you. Have you got anything at all you want to go into before we start the rundown? Or?
One thing. Last week we didn't actually rate our episode.
Of course, yeah.
So I feel like if anyone was at the end of the last episode, then we was sat there going, what were we rating that episode? I need to know. This is when they can get that, I feel
like as soon as we finished the episode last week, you were like, "No, we didn't rate it."
I know, and it felt a bit too late to just kind of go back on and go, "Oh, one sec, guys, we're rating it."
By the way, 5 stars.
Exactly. So, I feel we should do that now. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm doing a bit of a cheat here. Not only am I rating the episode from last week, I'm going back and re-rating every episode so far. Everything for me has been 5 stars so far. I've just loved it.
Fantastic.
How do you feel?
I'm going for a 4.5 again. I would have rated it a 5, only I'm saving that for another episode.
Okay.
I'm saving that rating, so yeah,
we'll get back to that. Okie doke. Right. So are you okay if we just go ahead and get into the rundown?
Go ahead, John. Yeah.
At the end of this, I've got a few quick things I want to go into, just with how I feel about the series as a whole so far. So, just that kind of thing. Okay. But before that, we'll go through the episode bit by bit. Might be a bit of a difficult one this week. We were laughing last night. I sent you that picture of a review from Collider.
Oh, yeah.
And they were saying that David Lynch has declared war on recappers.
And that, I think he has, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were literally on WhatsApp, we were joking about that beforehand, weren't we? Saying, how are we going to even talk about this episode? And then Clyde were like, he's declared war on recappers.
Amazing.
Yes, well, we'll jump into it. You okay to get going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We start with what we now know is called Mr. Cooper. Did you catch this?
Mr. Cooper.
Evil Coop.
Yeah.
He's referred to as Mr. Cooper in the car by Ray.
Right, okay.
Mr. Cooper and Ray, who last week were let out of, is it Foxworth? Have I just made that up?
Foxworth.
The prison.
Okay.
Let out of the prison. And they're just on a road trip in the car. And the first thing we see here is Mr. Cooper has realised there were like 3 tracking devices on the car.
Yeah.
Did you catch this?
Had like an app or something.
Yeah, again, Lynch with his like magical technology, like mystical technology or something.
I don't understand that.
He's got an app on his phone or something. I'm sure it's like a BlackBerry phone as well or something like that. And you can tell that there were 3 tracking devices on the car. So he puts the license plate of the truck in front of them into the app on his phone, changes the tracking onto that and just throws the phone out the window.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm aware, a tracking device actually has to be put on the car. You can't just track a car.
You can't just change it to another car with a license plate. But again, I just don't think Lynch is interested in technology at all. You know, like he's just like, yeah, just magic.
Yeah.
So he does that, throws the phone out the window, problem solved.
Yeah.
Don't know how that's happened, but they have a bit of a conversation here as well. I mean, we kind of learned it going back in like parts 1 and 2. I think that Ray has information memorized that Mr. Cooper needs.
Okay.
Did you remember any of this at all? And he keeps on saying, "I need the information from you."
Yeah.
And I think Ray wants money for it or something.
Yeah, I remember this. Because like, in a bit when he gets out of the car, he asks him for the information.
Yeah. And going on from this, Mr. Cooper then says to Ray, "Do you want to go to the farm?" He says, "Yeah, let's go." What the farm is, I have no idea. I was hoping we'd kind of figure out, we'd actually get there and find out what it was, but no such luck. On the way there, we have another scene of like driving where you just watch them drive for like a minute, out of the windshield.
Yeah.
I quite like that. On the way there, Ray needs to take a leak, so he makes them pull up. He gets out and has a pee. In the meantime, Mr. Cooper's in the car with the surprise that the warden left for him in the glove box.
Yep.
I don't really get this because it's fully loaded by the look of it. He checks the gun. He gets out, tells Ray he needs that information, holds him at gunpoint. Ray knows something that we don't, turns around with his gun out. Cooper goes to shoot him, but the guns, are they blanks or something? Or
See, I don't know, because even blanks make an explosion
that's the
noise,
point,
so like it still makes it was just going click as
Just
if
like
there's nothing in it.
empty shells or something.
So
like
I don't, unless like it was just like the back casing of a gun or something.
yeah, maybe.
Like it's not actually got anything but the back of the casing. I don't.
Just to trick him or something.
Yeah, because he was just kind of looking at it, wasn't he?
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't really know what that plays into, but Ray just shoots him point blank, doesn't he? Shoots him a few times in the chest.
Yeah.
And this is where things start getting weird.
So weird. So weird.
Yeah.
Because like you can tell Ray's like he was gonna go in for like a headshot or something. He was going in for another one.
Yeah.
But what followed, like, it would freak anyone out.
Yeah. We've met these guys a few times in this series. We now know they're called the Woodsmen.
The Woodman, yeah.
A load of them kind of appear out the woods.
Three?
I think there was 3, so yeah, it looked like there were more because they were disappearing and reappearing in and out of like...
Very ghostly, weren't they?
Very strange, yeah. And they start dancing around Mr. Cooper's body. And I think 1 or 2 of them start kind of get on the hands and knees, start pushing into him almost. Rubbing blood all over his face and stuff, his own blood all over his face.
They're taking the blood out of his like womb and just like rubbing it all over his face, wasn't it?
Yeah. And just to mention, we've met these guys before back in part 1. One of them was in a prison cell.
Yep.
And like vanished, his head popped off. And last week, one of them was walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
When the army lady was on the phone to her superior.
Am I mistaken? Or have we also seen them in Firewalk with Me?
Yeah, we'll get into this bit now. They were in Firewalk with Me. There's one bit in the trailer park where I believe Dale at this point is in the trailer investigating the disappearance of... I forgot his name now. Chris Isaac. Chester Desmond. Agent Chester Desmond. He went missing. Cooper turned up to investigate.
Yeah.
And one of these woodsmen turned up at the door, made a noise and just stumbled off. But it looked female, that one. I had a memory of that being female, which is weird.
That's the memory I have, yeah.
But they were all coated black. She was all, or she or he, whatever it was all coated black. And later in the film, we're going to come back to this later, but in the room above the convenience store, which is the name of the location, where the Formica table is, it's like a meeting of like Black Lodge residents. You have the man from another place, you have Bob, you had the Tremons, the grandma and the grandson, and there were 2 woodsmen sat there. They weren't painted black though. They were just like in woolly hats and stuff. Well, I don't think they were painted black anyway. But 2 woodsmen were in there then, and they were called woodsmen at that point.
Okay.
So this ties back to that. I almost get the feeling now, the way they look now, covered black and stuff, it's as if Lynch has merged the idea of that if it was a woman or man outside the trailer park with the woodsman in the, like as if like he's kind of like retrospectively merging them together now as some like weird demonic helpers of Bob or something like.
Yeah, they are weird, aren't they?
The reason I mention helpers is after this scene, when we see them like the massaging Mr. Coop's dead body, they almost pull out a Bob bubble. Did you notice this?
I did. Yeah.
Half a bubble comes out the body with Bob's evil face on it.
I did see that on a evil. I'm gonna keep on calling him Evil Dale, by the way.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
like it's what I know him as, but yeah, like out of Evil Dale's stomach, I seen.
Yeah, they like removed the bubble.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell if they were taking it out or putting it back in. I don't know.
For me, it looked weird because I'd just seen a face looking out of his stomach.
Yeah, it was almost half in, half out, wasn't it, kind of thing. So I don't know whether they're taking him out or pushing him back in. But
was he out afterwards? Because
I don't know.
I mean, we know that if one of them needs to die in order for the other one to
go back in.
Go back. Well, one of them needs
to stay out. Sorry.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And I think the woodsman, with that, he's always referred to as the question mark.
Yeah, the giant. Yeah,
the giant. He's always been in the Black Lodge, hasn't he?
See, I don't know now. I don't think we're getting into the law now, which I'm glad about this. I've been waiting for ages to get into this kind of deep stuff. Yeah. Like going back to the old TV show, they mentioned in series 2 there was a Black Lodge and a White Lodge.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name now. The bad guy, Wyndham Earl, the bad guy from series 2. He mentions that you can find a White Lodge as well as a Black Lodge.
Yeah.
And I think the giant is in the White Lodge. Just a theory, you know what I mean?
Which would mean he's the good. He's from the good side.
I think he's on the good side almost. But he's always helped Coop in the show once when he turned up.
But if they were together with the woodsman, though, would that not mean they were like helpers of the White Lodge then?
The giant was together with the woodsman.
I'm sure there was in that the place above the shop.
I don't think the giant was there.
I'm sure I've seen.
Was he?
Seeing where he's
maybe
he was there with him before.
I don't know then, unless he's just there.
I mean, I'll have to check this, but I thought that's what I saw. But what I was getting at is maybe they were trying to pull Bob out of it, so that I don't know, in order to help Dale stay alive or something.
The only reason I think they're evil is after this scene where he's on the floor and they're doing all this weird massaging. Ray's in the car then driving off because he's just had enough. He's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And he phones Philip Jeffries, which is David Bower's character.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, he thinks he phoned Philip Jeffries. In a previous episode, we thought that Evil Coop was talking to Philip Jeffries, and he realised on the phone, is like, this isn't Philip Jeffries. So whether Ray's talking to him, we don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or somebody pretending to be him. When he's on the phone to him, he says, I shot him, I think I killed him. But he has help. Like he's got help from somewhere, which makes me think that these are helping him. You know, these
maybe.
And we meet them later on, and they're definitely evil.
I was gonna say when you were saying it, then later on in the episode, they are definitely not on the good side of things, are they?
Yeah. And it's in this conversation, he tells who he thinks is Philip Jeffries. He calls him Mr. Cooper. So that must be their name for him, the evil Cooper kind of thing. And that's when he says, I think I killed him, but he has help. He might follow me.
Okay.
Well, and he also mentions, I've seen something, which is the Bob bubble, which might be the root of all this. So Ray's definitely more important than we think he is. You know what I mean? Like Ray knows kind of something weird's going on.
Yeah.
And he says, I've seen something that could be the root of all this, which is Bob. And we find out later if what we think is Bob, he is the root of all this, basically.
Yeah.
Is there anything more you want to add on that bit?
No. I mean, obviously he's driving off, he's talking, and then just before we go into what I can only describe as the weirdest bit of TV I've ever seen in my life, obviously Dale pops up.
before he pops up, we get a Nine Inch Nails performance, which is a
Was that
bit
before
random.
that?
Yeah,
I thought that was after that.
as he's dead on the floor. I think I've got it right, but I think the Nine Inch Nails play just randomly back at the Roadhouse.
I'm not quite sure how Twin Peaks managed to get 9 Inch Nails to their small little town.
Yeah, and play the Roadhouse. I don't know. Like I only know Trent Reznor as being David Fincher's like soundtrack guy. Whenever David Fincher does a film, he'll do the music for it, kind of thing.
Okay.
Like Gone Girl, Social Network, stuff like that. So I don't really know Nine Inch Nails, but yeah, how they've got him at the Roadhouse, I don't know.
But obviously, yeah, that was quite a weird little performance, wasn't it? But
yeah, a bit of a strange performance. Especially when it doesn't really tie into anything. From that, then we then go back to Evil Dale, and he just wakes up.
That's when he kind of pops up, doesn't he? Like, ooh,
yeah. And we were discussing in work today, if they have taken Bob out of him, is he still Evil Dale or what? You know, is it like is he just a doppelganger now that's left without Evil Bob there, or I guess we're gonna find out.
Would that make him Dougie?
Maybe they'll swap places. Yeah,
maybe we get Dougie back.
Yeah,
because like I feel like I'd be a bit gutted for Dougie's wife if she just completely had to lose Dale because he just got his mind back. I'd feel a bit bad for her because obviously she's got this impression. I mean, he's a nut job by the looks of it, this Dougie guy. Yeah. But like, I'd be a bit upset for her if she has to just go without a husband.
We'll come back to Naomi Watts because I've got a few theories about her that might tie in next week, maybe.
Okay.
Is there anything more you want to add on the Evil Coop section, or do you want to get to the proper start of the episode?
I mean, yeah, I'm ready again, and I've been preparing myself for this all day.
Been gearing up for this, though.
Yeah.
So, July the 16th, 1945, White Sands, New Mexico. We get a long landscape shot of the desert plains, and it's
Nevada, yeah.
New Mexico.
New Mexico. Sorry.
Yeah. Is Nevada more like Vegas or something? Yeah. This is more like, like on the border of like Texas and Mexico, I think this. Where Breaking Bad takes place.
Yeah.
This is the Trinity nuclear bomb test, the first ever atomic bomb test. And they're almost making a point that this is what brings the evil into the world. The invention of the atomic bomb or something. That's the way I read it anyway. Yeah. Just a quick aside. We mentioned the other week in work about Game of Thrones. We're going to get back to this in future, but there was a scene in the second book where a comet passes overhead, and it signifies the return of magic to the world. It reminds me of this. Like this atomic blast is almost like signifying the birth of this evil or something. Like that kind of feel to it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And we get a really long shot of the atomic bomb going off. And very slowly the camera zooms in. I'll just mention the music in the background of this. I think it's pronounced Threnody to the victims of Hiroshima. Threnody or Threnody to the victims of Hiroshima. Written about like the World War II bomb.
Yeah.
It's also turned up though this in The Shining, which is where we recognised it from. I didn't realise it was actually written, as a piece like that.
Okay.
I thought Kubrick had just found it somewhere and used it for the film, kind of thing. It's actually a classical piece, and I love the music over this. It's so weird and eerie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's in The Shining, because it just sets a weird tone. We very slowly push into the explosion. Did you notice, like, again, I'm probably getting too deep into it here, but the way the explosion goes up looks almost tree-like kind of thing. Just another little, extension of the arm, kind of.
Makes sense.
I don't know if that's meant to be a thing, but
I didn't even consider that, John.
Yeah, we slowly push in. Oh, also, did you notice as well a few weeks ago? This picture is on the wall of Gordon Cole's office.
Oh yeah,
It's a picture of the explosion behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how that ties in.
Again, I never considered that, but yeah, it was. I remember that.
Whether Gordon Cole knows something, I don't know, but just a weird little nod to it, kind of thing.
I mean, now this scene, anyway, like getting into it a bit, I feel like I was watching it for a very long time, and I didn't quite count it, but I'm sure it was like about 5 minutes, and I mean, and I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Yeah, it was, some of it I thought was quite creepy and scary.
Yeah, oh God, it really was, and like you're literally just watching a atomic bomb go off.
Yeah, you're going into the flames and like almost going within like a molecular level kind of thing almost of what's going on there.
You said it today. What was it? You said it at some point anyway. That you don't have a clue how he shot these things, and I just
I genuinely don't know how he did this. I don't know whether it's like miniatures or models or CGI. I just don't know what technique he's used to do this.
But it is amazingly shot, though, isn't it?
It looks amazing. They go into the fireball at first, and during the course of this, they go through almost like one section of black sky with like white stars flittering in the background. It looked a bit like the background when Dale was trying to like get out of the Black Lodge a few weeks ago. Do you remember when like he eventually popped out the power lines? There was a shot of him like flickering and like the background was like looked like this background almost. There's one bit where the background's white and like it's almost like black dust blowing against the screen or something. White noise almost. That was weird.
It messed with me a bit.
I mean, going back to Kubrick, it reminds me of 2001. The scene at the end of that when he goes on like his odyssey through space and time, it just reminds me of that, like when he's just going mental kind of thing. So after all that, we then arrive at the convenience store.
Is that straight away? Yeah.
Well, it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, I think it is like it's a good 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's the first bit we get to, is the convenience store, all in black and white, and the doors flickering open and flickering closed, smoke's coming out and going back. It's that really weird. Like,
yeah, God, yes. Sorry, I do remember that. This was really weird. And but I don't know. Like, it's weird because like the smoke, like for me. I don't know if it's, I'm just making this up, but it felt like there was like an invisible car or something that was coming out of the invisible car.
Maybe. It's just weird the way it was like coming out and reversing and going back. It felt like it was filmed the same way as, again, going back to like part 3, I think it was, where Dale was in that weird room talking to the Asian woman.
Yeah,
if she was Asian, I don't know. Talking to the woman who had a face blanked off.
Yeah.
And it was flickering back and forth constantly, and it felt like this, and eventually the smoke comes out of the convenience store and it's surrounded by woodsmen.
Yeah.
Like flickering about. I'm just wondering though, the smoke coming out of the convenience store, is it like a fire or something? And is this why they're black? They all got burnt in the fire or something, maybe?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Sorry, I've only just literally thought of that now, so it might be total rubbish kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Maybe,
yeah, you've got a good point, yeah.
Could be how that started. They could have been burnt in the fire in the convenience store or something.
Because it feels like this is like a kind of history of...
Yeah, of the evil kind of thing, like where it all came from.
So, like, obviously we've seen the start of it all, which is obviously going to be the nuclear explosion. Sorry, I just remember, like, after the nuclear explosion, like, before we go to the shop, it gave us a new year, didn't it?
Not yet, that's coming later. This was still all 1945 so far.
This was the same year?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if, like, it was, like, smoke from the nuclear explosion. Like, somehow
yeah, that's what I was thinking at first. Like, it's if, like, this is all part of the explosion or something, something weird like that. Like,
it's all come from it, maybe.
Maybe.
And like
if they were caught up in the blast or something, and that's why they're charred and stuff. I don't know. Interesting though. I mean, at this point, it's just mad, isn't it? It's really, really crazy. So we see all the woodsmen flickering about back and forth. The smoke's coming out of the convenience store. I think we then cut back to just more like fire and just, more travelling through space and time. And we then come to, I just made you check the name of this before we started the show, but it's called The Experiment.
Yeah.
Which I believe is the same thing we saw back in part 1 in the box in New York, the glass box. And The Experiment spews out like a stream of like just goo or whatever it is, I don't know, which has like speckled eggs within it.
Yeah.
I thought they were potatoes at first, but like speckled eggs within this bile that it spits out, and as well the bob bubble.
Yeah, the same kind of thing as that was in Dale, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. And it comes towards the camera, and Bob's face just really weird.
Yeah.
And we then cut from that to... We go back to a bit more space and time, and we then get to a purple ocean that we've seen before.
This is the one in, like, was it episode 2 or 3, maybe?
I think it was 3 when it starts off and he falls down.
And it's where that woman with the blanked off face is.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Like, just outside of there, isn't it?
Yeah. So we pan over this purple ocean. We come to this really weird building on top of like a mountain or cliff or something. Again, it's really well shot. I just don't know how they've done it. It must be CGI or model work or something. And eventually, just to give it an idea of the scale of it, the camera pans up, and eventually you spot a tiny little like opening in the side of the building, and the camera pans right into it. And if the theory is correct, this could be what is the White Lodge kind of thing, basically.
Okay.
We then go in, and this is where the giants are.
Yeah.
And
does it start off with the little woman in like the black and white dress?
That's right. I think we just caught her name then when we looked at the credits. Senorita Dido, I think she's called.
Oh right.
Yeah, a weird name.
Yeah.
She's just sat there in this.
She's kind of just like rocking back and forth, isn't she? Kind of
seems to be.
And I can't remember if she was doing anything else.
I don't think she was, to be honest.
I think this went on for a good minute or two there as well. Just rocking back and forth, like it's just truly very weird. This episode, like
it is. I mean, she doesn't do anything, I don't think. Then the giant walks in, and he's just stood there.
Yeah.
And an alarm goes off. Remember, there's like an alarm on this giant bell they've got beside them. I don't know what that significance that is.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Do you know when in episode 3 when Goodale went on top of the roof?
Yeah.
She kind of seemed to like pull a lever on the side of a bell, didn't she?
She did. She got electrified and flew off the.
I'm wondering if this has got anything to do with that. This bell. That's what first came to mind when I was watching it. Anyway,
I'm thinking for what we're going to come to in a minute. I'm almost thinking, is it like an alarm to let the giant know that there's some bad evil has just entered the world or something? Because we're still in 1940. Well, I presume we're still in 1945. Yeah. Is it like an alarm telling him? Like Bob's turned up on Earth, go and sort it out or something. Because from there, he then walks through into a theatre, which, just a side point, this theatre turns up in Mulholland Drive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm really interested to know what you think of this film next week.
Okay.
Whether it's just filmed in the same location, I don't know, but where this is filmed, they filmed a quite key scene of Mulholland Drive.
Just before we go on, like I just want to say how like amazed I was at this scene because it was obviously all recorded in like backwards, like it was done in reverse.
Yeah, and you barely even notice sometimes, do you?
But like it was the fact that he went up the stairs. Well, he came downstairs backwards, so that it could reverse it from and
play it the other way.
And that baffled me. I was watching this, going, "Wow, that must have taken like a lot of work." That.
He played it so well. There were only certain bits when I noticed. I thought, "Oh yeah, they're filming this backwards." I keep forgetting that.
The only reason I realised that was because you can like I don't know what it is, but like you can seem to hear a weird squelching noise when you step.
Ah, right.
It's been on the same since Twin Peaks season 1. Like,
right.
It's like you hear a weird squelching noise when they kind of walk. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but
it could just be the sound of footsteps reversed, maybe.
Yeah,
sounds different.
But
you know?
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew it was reversed. But like that really amazed me, like that he went down all these stairs backwards,
just so they could film it and reverse it, kind of thing. Yes, well, we then after that bit, he then walks into the theatre, and showing on the screen is we're then seeing the atomic bomb blast. We're watching the giant watch it again.
Yeah.
And we're watching we're watching the birth of Bob from the experiments again.
Yeah.
and it comes towards camera, and he almost like freeze frames when it's like at the bottom of the screen.
It is, yeah.
And I'm just guessing here, but I think what he does next is a reaction to what he's just seen on the screen. I think the alarm went off, and he's gone in here, seen what's happened, and thought, I've got to react to it and do something myself.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm missing anything out here, by the way, but he then starts levitating.
He does, yeah.
He starts like spitting out like gold dust or something, and it like forms what I think looks a bit like a tree again above his head or something. It could be anything, to be honest with you. I don't know. And Senorita Dido comes in to join him, and from this gold weird thing above his head comes like a golden ball, which calls back to the golden ball that came out of Dougie Jones in like episode 3 or something. Kind of ties in with that. The golden ball floats towards Senorita Dido, who kisses it, and it has the face of Laura Palmer in there. Yeah. It's really goofy, but I like it.
I don't know what point it is, because it zooms in on that face, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you hear the Laura Palmer music.
The theme, like, yeah. And it's the young Laura Palmer from like the high school prom photo.
So it's almost like in response to Bob being born.
Yeah.
The giant has almost given birth to Laura Palmer, or that story. I don't know.
Yeah, to her beginning or something, to like create something to oppose Bob. Maybe.
Yeah.
I might be getting way too into this kind of thing.
I feel like maybe like they began her story or something so that they could bring Dale. I feel like it's obviously got to do with Dale, hasn't it? So I feel like they've given birth to kind of Laura Palmer's whole story, which is obviously, we know of this from season 1, and a bit of Firewalk With Me. All of Firewalk With Me, one bit of that. So that we can
and tie it into
that we can get Dale, like Dale to Twin Peaks to get to the Black Lodge. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like the whole time is a flat circle. I've heard that in so many shows recently. My sister was telling me about True Detective, about that, mentioning it again. She started watching that again. And what other show was on about time being relative? I can't think now, but there was another show as well that was mentioning it.
A lot of shows.
Yeah. Yeah, so just one little theory here as well. Going back to episode 1, I think this was, when Laura Palmer, as we know her now, was in the Black Lodge. She started screaming and got pulled off screen upwards. Do you remember that at all?
Was this in the new series?
The new series, yeah. Dale was talking to her in the Black Lodge in like episode 1, I think. And it was like, Cheryl Lee, like she's now like mid-40s or whatever she is. And during the conversation, she started screaming, the whole thing shook, and she just vanished off screen straight up.
Okay.
Again, with the whole thing of time being like a loop or something, I'm wondering if she was being called up to then come to this point, to then be sent to Earth, somewhere.
Yeah.
If this is 1945, it doesn't really tie in with the timeline, but just a thought, like maybe
time really is relative.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's just another little thing.
Yeah, never know.
Come back to.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll find. I mean, I've still got this feeling though that we'll finish this season, and we won't have any answers.
Yeah, I've got to. I'm shocked how much he is tying things up now. Because I went for years having watched Firewalk With Me and just loving the whole mystery of it. And now that he's actually pointing towards what all this means, I'm thinking, I preferred it when it was just theories, Yeah, it's starting to wrap up all the Woodsman, all that angle to it. The Garmin Bowser, the electric, travelling through the electricity, all that kind of thing. But yeah, have you got anything more to... Oh, just one final thing was, I just like the way that the Laura Palmer gold ball went through like this weird pipe.
Yeah, I seen that.
Got funneled to the screen.
Yeah, it got like funneled to the screen, innit? When it basically turned into the image.
Yeah.
And it kind of fell to Earth essentially on the image.
Went to a weird drawing of Earth on the monitor.
Which I can only assume brought it to Twin Peaks.
Yeah. I mean, it's 1945, so I'm presuming like it's just put the idea of Laura Palmer like to her mum or something like that.
Well.
If it is 1945,
I mean, if it is 1945, then surely, I mean, her mum couldn't be alive at that point.
Oh yeah, she'll be alive
in 1945.
Laura Palmer would have been born in like 1975 or something like that. A bit earlier, maybe.
Yeah, but if she was born in 1945,
maybe.
then she would have been extremely old for.
She's in the mid-30s to have had a...
Exactly. That's I don't know, maybe.
Maybe. Anything more you want to add on that bit?
No, we'll leave it there.
What we think might be the White Lodge. Then, after more crazy kind of going through the fireball thing, we then jump to 1956.
Is that the year?
Same place, New Mexico. And we then find one of these speckled eggs in the desert.
Ah, yes.
And this is the birth of what I think is Bob, basically. I don't know, and again, we're just guessing, but we see some weird, like, frog cockroach or something.
See, this really weirded me out, this thing, because obviously, like, it's crawling along, and it's like, but do you know, when it kind of flies up to the window, it almost looked like humanoid with legs on it.
Yeah.
Legs, just like a humanoid with wings, sorry. Like, before it went back to its little cockroach look.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think this is Bob, basically. The birth of Bob.
Because obviously, like, after this happened, it's crawling across. Like I said, it's another extended episode, scene, should I say, where, like, you're watching this thing give, like, crack out of an egg for a good, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah, it takes a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then it crawls along and it flies up into this window of a little girl. Wait, this is before. We don't see this yet, do we?
So yeah, we just see the birth of it at this point. It just pops out the little egg. No, you're okay. I've got a point on that. I'm going to come back to that bit though. Just that's like walking off through the desert, I think.
Yeah.
And we then jump from that birth to the boy and girl. I think they're just credited as boy and girl. I think I've spotted before. Just basically walking and just chatting. They're only young, aren't they?
Like on a little date or something.
Yeah, a little date or something like that. Just walking and chatting. But while they're doing that, the camera then pans to the fields and the desert. And what we now know are the woodsmen arrive. Did you notice that they drop down from the sky?
I didn't see this, no.
This weird shadow, like portals in from the sky, and like their arms are up in the air, and they land on the floor and they start walking towards, and it's the woodsmen. So where they came from, I just don't know. So weird. They literally come in from the sky and start walking towards like the roads and stuff, and they stop a car on the road. And the main guy, the really creepy guy's like, got a light. And this old guy and his wife, they're almost like mesmerised by them.
This thing, I don't know if it was just me, but I noticed the man seemed to be wearing a uniform, as in like a forces uniform. I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
The woodsman is this?
No, do you know in the car, the man?
Car.
He seemed to be wearing like a.
Right.
So I don't know if I don't know if I'm just jumping the gun here, but maybe that's Major Briggs.
Maybe
because he was quite young and he had the same kind of look of like maybe a young Briggs.
I've got another thought that if he was an army guy, the book, The Secret History of Twin Peaks, has got loads of stuff about the Roswell incident and stuff like that. And there's loads of stuff going on in Roswell and New Mexico and what have you. And I almost think that might be somebody mentioned in the book.
Okay.
There's loads of army majors and sergeants who are all like involved in these weird alien cases.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if like that's a weird little throwaway to like say, this is the guy from the book, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I didn't realise that he had an army uniform
he
on.
He appeared to have like an army uniform.
I might go back tonight and rewatch it again.
I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen. So go and watch it by all means.
Yeah, I'll double check it.
Double check.
That is interesting. That.
Yeah, I noticed it. So like me, I for some reason I instantly thought it might be Major Briggs, but
it could be. That could be it. To be honest with you,
because 1956. That's on like. He would have been.
He was late 40s in like 1990.
Oh, was he? Oh God, he couldn't have been.
Could have been 16. Yeah.
I guess it.
Could have been him. Yep. If my maths are right.
Maybe. No, you're not. But yeah, you could.
Yeah, could be born in like 1950. been like 49 or something, and then he could have been a 16-year-old at that point or something. But
If he was born in 1950, he would have been 6.
oh, sorry, no, yeah.
Maths a bit off there.
He might have looked a bit older than he was.
Maths are a bit off, unfortunately. So yeah, you're probably right. Then it's probably just someone who's involved in like.
Sorry, I meant born in 1940. So it could he'd have been born in 1940. He'd have been late 40s in like 89, 90. So yeah, could be.
Or maybe. Let's see.
I'll definitely look into that. Did you notice as well, the woodsman at this point, they crackle. They have like a weird static when they walk. And there's this electric thing again, like the...
When they were asking for a light, got a light.
They walk around the car and you can hear crackling. Maybe it's the cigarette lighter from the car crackling, like the one that happened in...
That's what I thought, you know.
I thought they were crackling. Maybe it's the car.
I thought it was the car cracked. Because it sounded like it was coming from like in front of them.
Yeah, that must be it. And would have been a cigarette lighter, got a light, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it could be that. I never even thought of that.
Maybe trying to pull something through or something.
Yeah, something like that maybe. Would it have been like a portal or something?
I'm guessing it is like something to do with aliens then, definitely.
Possibly, could tie into it. I found that's interesting though. I don't just put that together really, but we then go from there, we go back to the boy and girl again. The boy gets a kiss from the girl before she goes up to her bedroom and puts the radio on. And we then go back to the woodsman who walks to the local radio station.
I feel like we had seen other people as well, because I feel like...
Yeah, we do actually. We cut to like a diner and stuff.
Yeah, we see the diner with someone listening to the radio.
Yeah, and a guy working in like a garage or something.
A guy working in the garage and the little girl listening to the radio. I feel like there might have been another man, just kind of, or a woman, listening to the radio just in the home kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like at this point, like you see them all, like this kid seemed to be sat there listening to the radio. Like you say, you see the woodsman walk into the local radio station.
Yeah.
Where I think a woman turns around going, "Oh, hi, can I help you?" kind of thing. And then
he asks her for a light, and she's just like, again, like mesmerised but like horrified at the same time. He grabs her by the skull, presumably starts squeezing. I love the way Lynch filmed this because like the camera's shaking again, so you can't totally make out what's happening.
Yeah.
Other than at one point, just blood just pours down her face, kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks as if he's actually like squeezing her head.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I do know what he's doing, obviously, but yeah, and like you say, blood just splurts out, and that's the end of her. And I think, does he knock on? He just walked through the door then, doesn't he?
Yeah, he then walks to the DJ as well. At first, he just holds the DJ in place, and takes over the microphone for the radio station. And the speech that it says is, let's have a look. "This is the water, this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and the dark within." The only bit that makes sense to me there is the horse bit. The horse being the white of the eyes. There's been I think 2 times we've seen Laura Palmer's mum see a white horse. In the TV show at one point.
In the film as well?
And in the film Firewalk with
bedroom?
Me, it appears to in the bedroom, yeah.
I remember, yeah.
And in this series, when Dale was on his weird odyssey early on, flying through space, he's flying through like blackness and a white horse just goes past him.
Yeah, I remember this, yeah.
So that, how it plays into it, I don't know, but...
Read it again, if you don't mind.
This is the water, this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and the dark within. What that means, or what the point of it is, I don't know, other than everyone falls asleep, seemingly, when he does it.
Yeah, because he's repeating those lines.
He repeats it over and over again.
Over and over and over again. And I think it's maybe on the 4th time or something, like, the first person falls or just falls asleep.
Yeah.
Because after it's cutting back to all these people still.
Everyone's dropping, and we see the little girl like fall on the bed, doesn't she, and fall asleep.
She falls asleep on the bed. Yeah, they see the mechanic just literally drop his tools and
just fall. The diner worker just collapses. Is it at this point we see the frog cockroach thing come back?
I feel
once
like
the girl's asleep.
I feel like that's kind of after what happens to the DJ.
Right, because the woodsman then just starts squeezing again, and we see a shot from the back of his like fingers enter the back of his head and just like crack it like a melon, and just blood just splurting everywhere.
Like it was bad from like when the receptionist girl got her head squeezed, but it's literally it just pours out of his head. It's just like blah, 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 blah. It's disgusting. Like the noises it makes as well.
Yeah, probably digs his fingers in as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and obviously like then he's dead.
Yeah.
I think that's when it kind of cuts then to the girl's bedroom. Well, back to the lizard, should I say?
Yeah.
Jumping into the girl's bedroom, and like he kind of jumps in. Like I say, he kind of looks a bit humanoid when he jumps. He's got like legs and arms, but then he jumps in and he just kind of crawls into her mouth.
She like opens her mouth.
But like she actually opens her mouth for him.
Which is weird.
Yeah. Which is
crawls in and she just stays asleep. I'm presuming this is Bob possessing his first person kind of thing.
Yeah.
Back in 1956. I mean, this is probably nothing to do with it, but I got weird. If it is Bob, I got weird like parallels with when he in Firewalk with Me when he creeps in through Laura's window.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Like
a
bit weird.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Like I say, with it being like a humanoid kind of weird thing, I just got a bit of a Bob feel of it. Like it's
kind of the infant version of Bob, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much the end of the episode. The credits then roll over the girl just sleeping on the bed, like.
Yeah. It was a very weird episode. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really enjoyed it though. Like, I couldn't keep my eyes off it. Like, I feel like I learnt a lot more about the world than the world of Twin Peaks. That is, than I have pretty much in any other episode. Yeah.
I find it funny as well. I mean, I'm loving it. I absolutely think it's the best thing on TV at the moment. But I just find it funny how like it's not even in Twin Peaks. None of this has been in Twin Peaks. It's all just in the Black Lodge in New Mexico kind of thing. So,
I mean, for me, like I watched 5 minutes of Mr. Cooper or Evil Dale and Ray. Like in the car, and then obviously what we spoke about before, and then like that was only 5 minutes, I think, and then the entirety of it felt to me like the entirety of the rest of the episode was just this big nightmare like sequence.
Yeah,
it felt like it was just like
a nightmarish vision almost. Or something. Yeah, I mean that's what Lynch does best, to be honest with you.
And he successfully freaked me out. On bits which there wasn't even anything to be freaked out by. It was just the music and the way the camera was moving and stuff like that.
Just the way he sets it kind of thing. Like say, just people walking around a convenience store shouldn't be freaky, but the way he does it, it's like, this is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Oh, so we just mentioned as well, that convenience store. We mentioned that in Firewalk with Me, the location was called the room above the convenience store. So that must be the origin of that. And how, like, that weird room with the four-magger table, when they're all sat around it, that must be above that convenience store.
All right.
Yeah, so just another little, callback.
I wonder if that means anything for, like, why it was smoking or anything.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I actually saw something online today, but, like, if this person is right, then they've absolutely nailed it, because it's going back to, like, 2005 when they made the prediction. It was on some Twin Peaks fan forum or something like from way before the new show came back. Yeah. And somebody predicted that like the log lady's husband would turn out to be a woodsman because they knew of the woodsman from the Firewalk with Me movie. And I'm just wondering if that if that's going to play into it somehow like that.
All right, okay.
Because the log lady always mentioned that her husband died in a fire and stuff like that.
Maybe, yeah.
and she carried the log around with her and talked to it, almost as if like her husband was in the log or something, you know.
And if he's a woodsman,
woodsman, yeah.
God, it actually makes sense, doesn't it?
If that, I wish I got the guy's username now, because like it was a post from like 2005 or something. I'm just thinking like if they've nailed that just from the little info they had in Firewalk with me.
That's brilliant.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just found that interesting, the whole convenience store angle as well.
Yeah.
Have you got anything more on the episode you want to go into, or?
No, I mean, like I say, like I feel like with that convenience store thing, like maybe like the whole reason it was on fire there is because that was kind of like the birth of, I don't know, like the evil or something, like that they.
Yeah, something's happened to create this evil.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
I don't know. It's. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I don't feel it answered. It may have answered a few questions for me, but I feel like this episode's probably given me more questions than answers.
Yeah, just one other quick throwaway thing about the convenience store as well. I mentioned on the Firewalk with Me podcast we did. Mike / Philip Gerard, the one-armed man, tells Leland / Bob that you stole the corn. I had it canned over the store, which. The convenience store, you know, it's coming back to that again. So there's a lot of clues there pointing to it, and I'm presuming now this is the convenience store, but we're going to see more about it and stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything more for the episode, or
no? No.
Yeah, no worries. I've got no feedback this week. What would you give the episode out of 5?
Well, I said earlier, I was saving 5-star rating. This is the time I've been saving it for. I'm going to rate this episode 5 stars.
5 bomb. I'm going back and re-rating every episode of the series 5 stars, and I'm giving this one a 2. No, this is a 5. No, they're all 5. This is a 5 stars. They're all 5. I've loved every minute of this first 8 episodes. Yeah, absolutely love it. Just one final thing. How are you feeling about the whole first 8 episodes so far? Is there anything you're looking forward to seeing the resolution of, or anything like that? Or
I'm not going to lie, I'm quite looking forward to seeing Dale come back as himself. I mean, I think we spoke about this before, that he's probably going to come back in episode 17. Wait, how many is there? 18?
18,
yeah. He's probably going to come back in episode 17, and we're not even going to see much of him. But I'm really looking forward to seeing old good Dale back.
If you'd have told me back in episode 4 that by this point we still wouldn't have good Dale back, I'd be like, oh no, but it's not bothering me at all.
No,
it's weird.
No, it's really good, isn't it?
Yeah,
what he's been doing with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm not gonna lie, I think we spoke about this again, like that. He's not doing much in Twin Peaks. I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see a bit more Twin
stuff
Peaks.
there.
I like mainly at the police station. I quite like Andy and especially
the new sheriff.
No, the
Hawk.
Hawk,
yeah.
I absolutely love seeing Hawk.
Yeah, Hawk's great. I think he's on a big part to play yet. I can't believe we've not seen Audrey Horne yet. We've got to episode 8 and no Audrey Horne.
Yeah, true.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm quite excited to go back to Twin Peaks and get some more goings on from there.
We're nearly halfway through, and we've still not caught up with some people yet. Bobby's been in one episode. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm loving it though. It's doing such a good job for me, like a balancing act of doing the Twin Peaks stuff and doing totally new stuff as well.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. The one thing I'm looking forward to getting resolved. Back in part 1, we saw Matthew Lillard, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, go to jail for being set up for murder, by the look of it.
Yeah.
And his wife getting killed by Dale. I want to see more of Matthew Lillard's character and how that's going to tie into all this, you know what I mean?
Not come back to that at
Never
all.
come back to it, no. And the black, just thinking now, the black charred woodsman was in the cell next to him and it disappeared. Yeah. And I'm sure we mentioned at the time that Matthew Lillard could have been possessed to do the murder. That's why his fingerprints were there.
Yeah.
But he's got no memory of it. maybe these woodsmen were helping Dale and doing it and possessing him to do the murder for him, like.
Maybe.
And when the job was done, it just vanished and disappeared.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm literally just thinking on the fly
No,
here.
no,
So
no,
yeah,
no,
I've
no,
only
of
just
course.
thought of that, but
This episode, it seems to have kind of brought quite a few things together, doesn't it?
yeah. And the only other things I want to see really are the Major Briggs stuff resolved, seeing how that ties in, and Philip Jeffries, David Bowie. I'm still holding out for him making a cameo.
I mean, we can definitely hope.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had Arnie in a Terminator film without him actually being there, so
Yeah, completely CGI'd in, yeah.
so you never know. They might put David Bowie in this one.
CGI David Bowie in, yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty much done. Have you got anything else you want to add?
I'd like to talk about our social media.
Oh, sorry,
just
yeah.
a second.
Drop that in.
Just drop my Twitter handle.
Yeah.
I can be found at DSTE Nick on Twitter. What about you, John?
I'm at Taylor1980. If you've got any feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Want to hear some theories and just generally about the show. Let us know how you think we're doing. If there's anything you don't like, anything you do like, just let us know. I'm sorry, just to mention, we are part of a main podcast.
We are part of the main podcast.
I keep forgetting to mention this.
Which is obviously the Don't Spoil the Ending podcast.
Yeah.
We can be found on Twitter also at DSTE podcast.
Yep. And again, just it's worth checking out that as well. We've done I think 14 episodes now. Our 14th episode will be dropping tonight, Tuesday.
Yeah,
which was the Dwayne Johnson classic, The Scorpion King.
That was right, yeah.
From 2002.
That was a good episode. Like, I definitely recommend going to listen to that one.
Yeah. If you are looking at where to start with them, I think some of the best ones are like the Split episode was a good one. The Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me. If you're listening to this, go and check out that one. That was a particularly good one. And I think Watchmen as well. I think Watchmen was quite a good one.
Yeah, that's really good.
So you've got a few there to get started with. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. You know, give those a listen. Hit us up on social media and let us know what you think. Just to mention again, next week we're doing it's a week off of Twin Peaks, so we're doing Mulholland Drive. We're doing like a full breakdown of that film. If you've seen it before, you'll know like how mad it is. So we're going to try and make some sense of it, come up with a few theories, and see if there isn't any link at all to Twin Peaks. So, have you got anything more, Nick? You want to go on?
I just want to say one thing before we go. By the time this episode drops, and anyone who's listened to it straight off, if anyone listened to it straight away, then at this point, a battle between you and Joe on Tekken will have taken place.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So that is getting, I believe it's getting streamed on Twitch.
I believe so. That's what Joe wants to do.
Or it'll be on a YouTube, YouTube channel. I guess we can post that on Twitter.
Definitely. Check out the social media. We'll have loads of links
for
that.
That's definitely something worth going to check out.
Yeah. Bit of a grudge match, me and Joe on Tekken. He's finally agreed to fight me, so yeah, check that out.
But yeah, that's everything from me, to be honest.
Great stuff. That's all from me. So we'll be back next week with Mulholland Drive, and then back to Twin Peaks the week after. So that's great. Cheers, Nick, and
Cheers,
see you
John.
next week.
See you next week, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.